Boom, and we're live. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of Juggernaut LE in the red. Representing Team Liquid, it is El Capitan himself. Give it up for the Dutch boy, Harstem. And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the blue. Representing Germany and Cascade Gaming, he is GunGFuBanDa. A quick update if you are just joining us here on the B stream. Here's the plan for today. The B stream is going to have 3 total matches. We've just finished up with our previous match, Geralt versus Bly. We're into match number 2 here, GunGFu and Harstem. And then our third match of the day, going to be Aquaron and Clem. After those 3 matches, we're probably going to take the stream down for a minute and shuffle around the casters a bit. I don't know what that's going to look like now that Grant's not here. But when we come back, we'll have the B stream ready to go again with 4 matches from the North America region. But wait, there's more. Not only for North America will the main stream, which is Kalaris, Fear Dragon, and DeMuslim be going on. We're going to have the B stream with possibly me. It depends on how things shake out. I don't know who the casters are going to be yet. But then for North America, there will also be both a C and a D stream. So if you're counting, that's 4 streams for NA with 4 games each, a total of 16 North American StarCraft series going down today. It's going to be an epic afternoon of StarCraft, and I hope you guys can join us. I'm sure we'll all be on a squad stream together, and you can, if you got 4 monitors, you can crank us all onto 4 monitors. If you've only got 3, you're going to put me on your middle monitor, and then you can put the other people on your other monitors. I really don't care, as long as I'm on there somewhere. And it should be a great day. So, if you're able to stick around for the North America event, you definitely should. It's gonna be great. Peely, Scarlet, Neeb, Vindicta, Asuna, Masa, everybody you could possibly hope for, cranking out the action in the very first day of North America play as these players scrabble to see who's gonna come out with the first wins and deliver those first losses. Meanwhile, though, we're in Group B now. We've moved on to Group B in the EU region today. Harstem right now sitting at 1 and 2 in the group, and GunGFu actually sitting at 2 and 1. So while you may be a little bit more familiar with Harstem as a player, as a commentator, as a personality, GunGFu actually has a slightly better record right now than Harstem does in the group. So this is turning very quickly into what might become a must-win game for Harstem. If he loses this game, he drops down to a 1-3 record, which, as we said earlier, is really difficult to recover for. If you're trying to make it out of the groups, generally speaking, you're aiming for at least a 4-3 record. You want at least 4 wins and 3 series losses. If Harstem goes down and loses this series against GunGFu, he'll be at 1-3, meaning he has to win his remaining 3 matches to really even have a chance at moving out of his group. Now, look, I'm not saying this is a factual, a permanent correct answer. Obviously, we've had some very odd cases where the groups shake out, where a player who was 3 and 4 still advances because there was another player who was 3 and 4, and like the group is all messed up. But again, as a general rule of thumb, both these guys are looking to go for a 3-4 record, or a 4-3 record rather. And of course, losing this series for Harstem would be really rough. Man, if GunGFu is able to win it, though, he'll go up to a 3-1 record, maintaining his spot in the top 4 here. And honestly, giving himself a very real shot at getting out of this group. GunGFu does still have some difficult opponents after Harstem. He's got to play Elaser. He's got to play Clem. Wait, Clem? Yeah, he's got to play Elaser, Clem, and Vanya. So 3 difficult opponents coming up here for GunGFu, but not unwinnable. So very interesting series for both these players, and both of them will definitely be looking for a big win. As it stands, these players have got Blink on the way with a slight +1 advantage for GunGFu. He started that Forge slightly earlier than Harstem. In fact, Harstem has not yet started his Forge. Harstem, in lieu of a Forge, is going for a 3rd base much more quickly than GunGFu is. GunGFu just now dropping that 3rd base. I imagine we'll see a Forge from Harstem soon. Harstem, of course, has to keep up with his Joneses here in this game. PvP, almost more than any other matchup, requires you to stay up to date on your upgrades. If you're in a Marine tank battle in a TVT, and you've got upgraded Marines, your Marines are 1-1, and your opponent's at 0-0. That still can be a winnable fight if your tanks are sieged up more quickly, If you get some good tank fire off, if maybe you get a flank or something, you can still win that fight. But let me tell you, man, if you're in a Blink Stalker versus Blink Stalker battle and your opponent just has more firepower than you are, you've got to assume that it's going to be a very, very tight matchup. So while the Forge is coming down now for Harstem, he's going to really be relying on this third base getting down a little bit earlier, starting to crank out a couple more probes and try and win on the back of his economy, as opposed to on the back of this +1 disadvantage that he's now fostering in this game. We can already see Harstem pushing out a little bit, might try and hit, I was going to say before +1 happens, but it's not gonna be the case. This forward pylon is going to give Harstem the forward position that he needs, and he's going to try and defend against a very sentry-heavy army from GunGFu right now. Blink is finished on both sides, +1 just finished up for GunGFu. Harstem hitting a bit of an anti-timing here, but Harstem's got a couple of adepts in the natural, I believe. Yeah, and these adepts getting a fair amount of damage, done 2 probe kills, 3 probe kills before they get chased away. Meanwhile, GunGFu fighting way outside of his shield battery here. That's actually a really dangerous position for GunGFu, and Harstem baited out that shield battery overcharge. So that's a small win for Harstem there. The 3 probe kills in the back are really what matters the most. If we get the resources lost tab, you can see it's almost even. Harstem eating a couple sentry kills, which is not what you want early in the game. Those sentries, of course, get more and more valuable the later the game goes on. That's going to force Harstem back across the map to try and reposition those stalkers and get something else done. Now here is the big brain play from Harstem. Robo into Robo Bay with a second Robo on the way. Disruptors are coming out hard and fast for Harstem. Now, this is going to be the big differentiator between these two builds right now. There's still no Robo Bay out for GunGFuBanDa. In fact, he hasn't even started his yet, instead focusing on charge and going for +2. So we're going to see a really interesting clash of styles, whereas earlier in the game, it looked like both these players were going to go for Blink Stalker into the more common Disruptor transition. It does look like GunGFu is instead going to go for Blink Stalker Charge Lot +2 against what looks to be Blink Stalker Disruptor for Harstem. This is going to be a really interesting engagement here. I'm not really sure how it's going to play out. Obviously, a lot of it going to come down to those Disruptor shots. Remember, guys, no matter how chargy your Zealots are, they don't have Blink, and that means that they're much more apt to be nailed by Disruptor shots. But if you're able to take a good fight here, GunGFu may be able to get a bit of an advantage, but no, GunGFu not paying as much attention as he might have hoped. Some bad force fields there, going to drive back Harstem and actually save Harstem's bacon just a little bit. Harstem able to retreat here, and GunGFu still looking for damage. GunGFu slightly behind in army supply, but the Disruptors for Harstem are rolling out now 2 at a time. There's already 1 Disruptor on the field, going to be up to 3 soon, and Harstem, feeling very confident about his defense here, is going to try and expand to a 4th location. Shows his Disruptor here, and yeah, immediately Harstem's like, okay, wait a minute, this is way too many stalkers here from GunGFu. And GunGFu, of course, about to finish with +2. This is a good timing from GunGFu. What a snipe on that Observer, by the way. A huge push. You may not think an Observer snipe is a big deal, but knowing where your opponent is at all times is so dangerous. And oh my god, if he gets into the main base right now, does he have sentries in here? Oh my god, he's got 4 sentries here. If he blinks up into the main base and gets those sentries down, he can force field off the ramp. This could be a classic Protoss 101 play. Oh man, not quite it though. GunGFu not able to get that blink in time, and oh my god, the Disruptor shots! Ah! Harstem gets a huge kill, blunks forward onto GunGFu, and GunGFu evaporates like a puddle of water outside on a hot summer day. Harstem grabs game number 1. Ho ho ho, that was so ugly. Oh, that was ugly. My god. So I didn't even have time to explain what happened. What GunGFu was hoping to do was blink up into the main, drop the sentries off, force field the ramp, and with the weird Sim City that Harstem had in his main, he was hoping to force a weird blink up, take out some of the units, and with that force field on the ramp, prevent any more of Harstem units from getting up. Unfortunately, he missed the force field on the ramp completely. Just force field at a totally random spot. Disruptor balls went up, and since Blink was on cooldown, and he was jammed up against the wall of the main base, GunGFu just lost everything, and Harstem explodinated his army. It wasn't even close, forcing the immediate GG out from GunGFu. You know, that wasn't a game that Harstem won so much as that GunGFu lost. Man, you hate to see a player go out like that, but you do love to see a Disruptor shot like that. I'm streaming on a 2-minute delay right now, guys, and I have my stream on a 2-minute delay pulled up on my other monitor, and I'm just watching chat because I cannot wait to see your reaction to this, the juiciest of Disruptor shot. That Disruptor shot was so juicy, it's wearing those velvet pants that just have juicy written across the butt. That's what that Disruptor is wearing right now because that shot was so dang good. Oh, I want to see it again. Oh, come on. We're getting into the next game, but oh, I gotta see this happen again. It's too good. It's too good to ignore. Come on. Anyway, we'll introduce our players here, so you're not forced to just watch me watch the stream. Spawning in the top left-hand side of Romanticide, LE, representing the Netherlands and Team Liquid, it is Harstem. And his opponent, with that really unfortunate blink timing, in the bottom left-hand side, it is Cascade Gaming and Germany's GunGFuBanDa. Perfect timing. I just saw the disruptor shot go down in the previous game. Oh, man, that was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Well, we'll see what happens in game number 2 here. Oh, man. Oh, man. What an explosive end, both literally and figuratively, to that previous game. We'll see what game 2 has in store. Harstem looking very comfortable, very confident on that Blink Stalker disruptor play. We'll see if he transitions into that again, or if GunGFu allows him to get there. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that GunGFu is going to try to be a little bit more aggressive this game. It looked like last game, the German Protoss player was trying to be more aggressive, but wasn't really able to find the damage that he wanted. Harstem was actually the one who was pushing out across the map, had the forward pylons pressuring the third base, and GunGFu wasn't able to get out with the +1 and +2 timings that he really wanted. Harstem did a good job defending and pushed him away. So we'll see what game 2 has in store for us. Right now, it looks like Harstem. Cheeky little probe out on the map, and as soon as that cybernetics core finishes up, we are going to see a proxy, I'm guessing Stargate, going down from Harstem. He's saving up for 150. Proxy Gateway? What? No. What? Oh, just Stalker's out. Okay, Proxy Gateway. Never mind. I thought he might be saving up for the Stargate. It's just going to be a Proxy Gate, which is a really interesting play from Harstem here. Normally, of course, if you see a Protoss proxying something after their cybernetics core finishes, you're either going to see a Proxy Robo or a Proxy Stargate. Now, we're going to have to see exactly what Harstem wants to go for in game number 2. This forward gate suggesting a lot of early game aggression. Nice shield battery block off here for GunGFu. And he's actually going to snipe the scouting probe, which is a big win. That scouting probe now unable to see what else comes out. And of course, there's no pylon here to check it either. Gateway finishing up, but looks like GunGFu is going to spot this forward gateway. What a good scouting pattern from GunGFu, who sees it coming down immediately. Focus fire onto the pylon. Now the onus is on Harstem to drive GunGFu away and protect this forward gateway. But now that GunGFu knows what's coming, I imagine we'll see a probably Stargate out of him, right? Oh, he's got a lot of options here. He's just gonna go for another gateway. Okay, forward gateway of his own. Oh, you cheeky little banana. Okay, double forward gate pressure from both sides. This could get ugly real fast. In my head, in 5 minutes, here's what I'm hoping for: massive base trade. Both players deciding if they're going to go for a draw or not. Oh god, that could be so ugly. That could be so ugly. But GunGFu going to stay on the defensive for a while. No shield batteries, by the way, for GunGFu. And Harstem is actually able to expand behind this, which gives Harstem a distinct advantage in this game now. If GunGFu feels like he's under pressure, he's not going to be able to expand behind this, and the longer the game goes without GunGFu expanding, the better it gets for Harstem. Harstem can always recall these stalkers if they're out of position. He can always warp in back home. He can always drop another shield or a shield battery down at this natural. So it's very possible that Harstem finds himself in an advantageous position right now. Couple of adepts coming in for Harstem. These are the forward location, not back home. And these adepts from GunGFu are going to try and get in. Harstem should be able to drop the shield battery at the top of the ramp, though, and stop these adepts from getting in. Oh my god, Harstem misses it. Adepts in the main base, and that forces the recall. Huge mistake from Harstem, and that's going to force him to forfeit any tactical advantage he had. Unfortunately, these two adepts slipping in is going to slow Harstem's plan down a lot. He's going to lose 4 probes as well. That is not what he was hoping, and that clears the way, of course, for GunGFu to get up here and destroy his forward gate. A huge tactical mistake from our boy GunGFuBanDa. Oof, that hurt a lot. Whew. Let's see how Harstem can recover. Twilight Council on the high ground. This has been unspotted. He's got some depths of his own, but of course with no with no probes to murder, it's hard to murder probes, man. And this message brought to you by the president of the Tautology Club. Anyway, earlier Twilight Council, down for Harstem. He's even on probes, which is fine. Remember, Harstem's natural is down way before GunGFu's. GunGFu only just now putting his natural down. So Harstem will be in an advantageous economic position, and he shouldn't be the end of the world for him. He just gave up a lot of tactical play on the other side of the map when he let those 2 adepts through. Rookie mistake from Harstem. Hopefully he won't let it happen again. Harstem going for Blink. Not Charge, not +1, just Blink. I think he's going to be able to get in a good shot here against GunGFu. GunGFu's Twilight Council also a little bit behind here. He needs to start Blink right away. Good shade forward here from GunGFu, drawing a lot of the Stalker fire away onto those Adepts. It looks like one Stalker is going to go down behind this. Of course, the Stalker is usually going to fire on other Stalkers because they are armored versus, they want to shoot against armored units. But right now, it looks like this is a really bloody fight. GunGFu simply has more stuff. Shield Battery Overcharge for Harstem not really working out too well. He's fighting a little bit away from that shield battery. The shield battery now out of energy. Second shield battery about to finish, but GunGFu keeping a lot of this pressure on. GunGFu has also started Blink here, but remember, Blink is way further ahead for Harstem than it is for GunGFu. Probes pulled off the line for Harstem to try and drive this back. Harstem happy to sacrifice a probe or 2 to make sure he doesn't just get overrun here. Remember, he is, I was going to say, he was slightly ahead on probes. He does have a couple, his natural was up a little bit earlier, so he does have slightly more probe production than his opponent, or did have more probe production than his opponent. Oh, got some lag there. I saw it as well. Hopefully everything is okay between these 2 players. Head back to our interstitial here, just one moment. Pretty sure it was me. Oh boy. Super duper. I didn't see any lag on my end, but we'll see what happens. Hang on just a minute, guys. Okay, GunGFu says it was him. Okay, GunGFu with a little bit of lag. We're waiting now on the referee to unpause the game. Looks like GunGFu actually lagged just a little bit. Poor guy. Okay, GunGFu says he's ready. Harstem says he's ready. And we're back in. Boom. The Adept Shade did finish there, which I think happened because of GunGFu's lag, so he did lose a few Adepts that he probably wouldn't have lost otherwise. And that's going to make things fairly even between Harstem and GunGFu. Forward gateway still done, but of course depowered here for Harstem, so he has no forward base from which to attack. Slight difference here in game number 2, as the Forge is finished up much earlier for GunGFu. Remember, Harstem was able to get his Forge and +1 up much earlier in the... No, wait, I'm backwards. Am I backwards? I might be backwards. Sorry. Anyway, again, Forge slightly ahead here for GunGFu, and he starts his +1 right away. Of course, with good, dedicated chronos, Harstem can catch up, and that window going to be very, very narrow. I imagine Harstem will start his +1 right away, and yeah, we can see that there's only about 20 seconds difference between these two upgrades. Interestingly, Harstem has still not spotted this forward gate for GunGFu, and with where this pylon is, the warp-in can actually happen on the other side of these minerals here on Romanticide. Romanticide, a really fantastically interesting matchup, actually. Interesting map, rather, as these minerals prevent the player from going straight to this 5th base location after taking the 3rd, and it does give a huge attack, a huge defender's advantage, unless you're playing against Terran, in which case it's very easy to siege up tanks on the other side of these minerals and pressure this 3rd base location, dropping on the other side with medevacs and stuff. So, interesting map here, and I gotta say, it's one of my favorite new additions to the map pool, made by the map maker Maris, who I believe has 3 maps in the current map pool. She is phenomenal and so talented. Very great map, and we'll see what these players can make the most of it. We'll see if these players can make the most of it. 3rd base going to finish up for GunGFu just a little bit earlier than his opponent. But honestly, not too much of a difference. The biggest difference right now are these 3 extra gateways finishing up for GunGFu. That's going to put him up at 5 warp gates, the only 4 of Harstem, while Harstem now building 5 and 6. Adepts trying to shade in here from GunGFu. They're going to get the cancel off into the natural, but these should still go down. With no shade available, these of course, will be picked off pretty easily. And Stalker's looking good for Harstem. Harstem now significantly ahead in army supply. In fact, let's look at the units tab here. We can see the army value pretty high here for Harstem. The units tab showing that he's way ahead on Stalkers. The difference is that GunGFu has an immortal, but remember, 1 immortal, not that scary against Blink Stalkers. If Harstem thinks he has a significant enough advantage, he can Blink right on top of that immortal, pick it off, and negate it completely before it's able to get more than 1 or 2 shots off. Earlier Robo Bay again from Harstem. He will have disruptors again, much more quickly than GunGFu does. GunGFu, with just the Robo, no Robo Bay. The longer this Robo Bay takes to get out from GunGFu, the worse this gets. We saw this in the previous game where Harstem gets up to that Blinkstalker Disruptor play and feels very, very supremely confident in his ability to attack and defend with Blinkstalker Disruptor. And again, just like the previous game, Harstem's grabbing his second Robo as well. So a dedicated Blinkstalker Disruptor play from Harstem. Finally, GunGFu getting that Robo down on his own. You can see the upgrades have evened out between these two players. Again, the timing's so tight as to be relatively ineffectual. It doesn't matter a whole lot who has +2 or who has the upgrade advantage. If there's only a 2 or 3 second window, even in a fight, that won't make much of a difference. Remember, Disruptor Balls are a spell and therefore not influenced by +2. But it looks like since both players are going for Disruptors, the upgrades are going to be even. Should be just fine. 4th base down for GunGFu, and Harstem posturing for a 4th base as well. He's got bringing another probe down. Okay, this probe taking a union-mandated smoke break, I guess, outside the 4th base. Oh, he's going to build a pylon. Okay, tag team. It was a tag team effort. He checked his punch card, and he was like, hey, man, I built more structures than this guy has. And they were like, well, okay, he's built more structures than you. I guess we got to send a different probe out. Can you imagine if you had the even build rule on probes, where if you have a probe that's built one structure, you can't build a second structure until all your probes have built one structure? You have to research the union contract negotiation for that upgrade to go away, or for that that debuff to go away. Second Robo out here for GunGFu, and it looks like despite these little scuffles around, I think it's going to be just fine. Yeah, the Blink's away here. 1 Disruptor, 2 Disruptors out for Harstem is not quite enough. What both these players are really looking for are 5, 6, 10 Disruptors. Once you have enough Disruptors in the field, you can start using your Disruptor shots not just for damage, but for zoning. And that's so important and so overlooked, I think, is that a lot of players are like, oh, my Disruptor is doing a lot of damage. I've got 2 of them. It's great. Really, what's so valuable is having multiple Disruptors that allows you to really play some head games with your opponent and psych them out, right? Use your first 2 Disruptor shots to either zone them out or force a blink. And then once you've forced the blink, use your 4th, 5th, 6 Disruptors to get some big shots off. A last second blink from GunGFu there. But the Disruptor count getting very scary for Harstem right now. The Disruptor count currently 4-2, and all 4 of the Disruptors in Harstem's army are up here at the front of his army. So even though GunGFu's defending slightly closer to his bases, his Disruptors are not all with that army right now, which means that GunGFu does have a distinct advantage. Immortals in a different control group right now, not fighting. GunGFu forced to defend, and behind us, of course, Harstem able to get up to a significant number of probes here, 74-73. Despite Harstem having a 4th base down a little bit later than his opponent, he is able to get a good, even income. In fact, if we check the income graph, we'll see it's barely in GunGFu's favor, but spiking back up toward Harstem. Guardian Shield goes down, indicating that Harstem is happy to engage a little bit further here, but will be forced away with the Disruptor shots out. More Disruptors coming down. Harstem actually looking for a real true blue engagement here. Blinks away 2 Stalkers, but not all of them. Oh, man, this is actually really interesting. Oh, this is really interesting here. Let's see what Harstem's able to get done here. Again, what the game you're trying to play is to bait out blink from your opponent. Force them to blink either aggressively on top of you or defensively, and then send out a second Disruptor ball to take out the Stalkers that don't have blink available. If GunGFu gets greedy and tries to blunk on top of Harstem, he's going to get real trouble. There's a great Disruptor shot immediately from Harstem here. Harstem now on 111 army supply. Disruptor count fairly even. The Immortals not part of this fight right now for GunGFu, and Harstem does lose 3 Stalkers of his own. Oh, nice little Zealot run by here. Will be cleaned up by the Photon Cannons eventually, so not a lot of damage being done, but a 5th base on the way for Harstem. If Harstem can continue this pressure and keep that 5th base up, he's going to have a really nice shot at winning this game. Disruptor Ball should be going forward here. The Blinks are available, though, for both players here. Disruptor Ball's not going to get any damage done there. Nice dodges by Harstem. The Blink forced away from Harstem, and this looks like we are going to see a bit more posturing from both of these guys rather than a big engagement. Dark Shrine is finished up for GunGFu. Don't forget about that Dark Shrine and all the excitement. There are some observers here for Harstem. I'm not sure. Yeah, Harstem does have observers with his army, so he's going to be just fine. I love the Gravitic Drive upgrade coming out right now for GunGFu so that his observers can stay with the army. Those zippy observers are going to be so valuable later in the game. Again, Blunk's forced out here. Just, oh man, 1 Disruptor goes down for Harstem. This is still neck in neck, anybody's game. 8 Disruptors to 9 Disruptors. Harstem has a distinct advantage in Stalkers, but there are some Immortals out for GunGFu. Of course, Immortals not as valuable in a Blink Stalker Disruptor fight because Immortals can't just like stand and fight the way we want to. When you have Immortals out on the field, what you really want to do is just plant them behind the army and let them shell away in one place like they're at a disco rave, just picking down everything they can. But if you're desperately dodging all these Disruptor shots and the Immortals aren't part of the fight, it doesn't do as much work as you might think. Good Disruptor shot again from GunGFu. Harstem eating a bit of damage, but not game-ending damage right now. 5, 6 Stalkers doesn't really matter at this point. Look at the banks for both these players. Both of them just about 2k minerals, which means they can warp in for as long as they possibly want. Losing Stalkers is not that important. What you're really looking for are Disruptor on Disruptor shots, or if you can get some cute Dark Templar run-bys that are not yet scouted. Luckily, Harstem has those photon cannons ready to go, and even more of them coming down at the third base, so he's more than ready for these DT run-bys. Little run-by from Harstem here at the natural, pushed away by a couple Zealots, but the real push is still going on between these two armies. No player can lose focus for a split second. If you do, you die. 2 Disruptors go down for Harstem. That's initially a good shot for GunGFu. Remember, Harstem started this engagement with a Disruptor advantage. He was up 4-2 27 hours ago when these two armies started facing each other. Now, it's 10-8, and since GunGFu is fighting a little bit closer to his base, he is going to have a slight defender's advantage getting these Disruptors out slightly earlier. Oh my god, DT's blinking on top of that Robo. The Robo goes down here, and there is some detection, but the DT's getting a lot of damage done. That first Robo going down is a huge, huge win for GunGFu, but look at what Harstem's doing. Chat, I hope you have got your griddles ready, because we're going to see the Fleet Bacon coming down for Harstem, who looks like he wants to transition into some carrier boys. Let's get those Tempests on the field as well. Oh, baby dolls. DTs are good, but they don't fight against carriers. Oh, Harstem just clipped his own army with his Disruptor Ball. That's a huge mistake from Harstem. Losing focus for a minute there. Remember, Disruptor Balls do friendly fire. It's terrible, terrible damage if they hit your own Stalkers. And Harstem, who once had a distinct army supply advantage, is actually now even and slightly behind his opponent GunGFu. Harstem going for the flank attack, though. Nice Disruptor Balls there from GunGFu, picking off some of the from this charge lots in the backside. Harstem is going for a full flank here. Flank on the south side, flank on the east side. Disruptor Balls doing all sorts of damage. Disruptors don't take damage from themselves, but Harstem losing so much in the aftermath. Forcing a recall, though, out of GunGFu, who decides he's done enough damage and wants to GT heck out of there. He's going to get all the way back home to his 4th base, leaving a few Stalkers to get cleaned up by Harstem there, but that was absolutely a big win for GunGFuBanDa. Take a look at the army supply tab right now, guys. You can see huge losses for both players, but GunGFu evening the odds, and of course GunGFu on even basis with Harstem. So this is still a really tight match. The problem right now is that Harstem is transitioning. He is transitioning to carriers. He's got the Fleet Bacon down. He's got the Mama ship on the way. So I don't care what meme you're going for. If you're going for Fleet Bacon, if you're going for -400, if you're going for, I don't know, Bald Guy Talks Too Fast, whatever chat's talking about right now, you're in the right ballpark, because this is such a great game between these two players. GunGFu, guys, is not prepped for this transition at all. No counter Stargates out for GunGFu. No Fleet Bacon at all. It looks like if Harstem can get a couple carriers on the field, he's going to have a really interesting chance. Now, of course, Blink Stalkers can be devastating against carriers, and it's very easy for a Protoss player with a huge bank to transition very quickly and respond to a tech switch from their opponent. Man, these guys are not missing a trick. GunGFu trying to expand to the 3 o'clock position. This has been spotted, though, by Harstem, who already has some adepts up here, and this 3 o'clock will be force a recall. Will force a response out of GunGFuBanDa. A couple of adepts going to go down there. But Harstem now knows that that base is there, and it will be an attractive target for later in the game. You could already see him sending an army of charge slots up to the 3 o'clock. DTs are here, though, and with no observer... Oh, there is an observer here for Harstem. Very nicely done. Those Zealots will be able to attack into those DTs and maybe put some very real pressure on this 3 o'clock base. Small army from GunGFu rallied up to the north side. Harstem still keeping his pressure on. The army supplies have evened out once again, but look at the banks here. GunGFu has about twice the bank that Harstem does. Nice force of a cancel, though, on the 3 o'clock. Harstem adding on this bottom left-hand base. That puts Harstem on 6 bases to the 5 of GunGFu, meaning that the income graph looking slightly more Harstem than it would otherwise. Of course, GunGFu still in a pretty decent position. 80 probes to 80 probes. This looks very, very clean from both players. Couple Disruptor Balls going down. Split second Disruptor changes. No kills, though, yet. The Mothership is now out, and that should indicate some sort of fear from GunGFu. He's got to be like, hey, wait a minute. If you've got a Fleet Beacon, then that means you've got... Oh, no. Oh, no! You've got carriers! Oh! And I'm not prepped for them at all. Now, Blink Stalkers can do good damage against carriers, but it's so dangerous to engage with that Mothership if you don't have an observer here. The carriers can rip you to shreds before your observer gets there. You'd have a lot of time taking down that Mama ship, but oh my god, what a good Disruptor shot from GunGFu. You spend a lot of time pecking down that Mothership, and in the meantime, those Interceptors are going to work. Man, GunGFu getting some very, very good trades here. Taking out a couple more Disruptors. The Disruptor count now 9 to 5. It's like, is it Dolly Parton who sang 9 to 5? It's Dolly Parton, right? Dolly Parton? Oh god, chat, please don't be angry at me. I'm thinking about StarCraft, but whoever sang 9 to 5, that's the song reference I was going for. Good blinks here from GunGFu. These players staying so active. I could just watch this fight all day, but I don't want you to be deprived of a little follow-up here from GunGFu, who's got some disruptors and zealots and DTs going into the 4th base of Harstem right now. Harstem's going to lose everything at this base, and this could force a really awkward engagement here. Harstem's going to put him all the way back to try and defend against this. 14 probes go down, and nice disruptor shots onto a lot of the stalkers. An aggressive blunk forward from Harstem there. Going to get on top of the DTs, and that will force GunGFu back. GunGFu found exactly what he wanted, which was not only the probe damage, but also clearing Harstem out of this annoying little corridor that he's been in for the entire game. And ho, disruptor balls doing so much damage. Nice clearing of those disruptors. GunGFu now on an almost entirely ground army, and finally GunGFu has just enough breathing room to get his own fleet bacon, and 1, 2, 3 Stargates down. He's going to be a bit behind, but he's got a chance. +1 air weapons already about finished up for GunGFu here, but +2 air weapons, or pardon me, +3 air weapons almost finished up for Harstem. So when the carrier count comes to carrier count, it does, or when carriers fight carriers, Harstem is going to have a distinct advantage. He's already finishing up his +1 shields as well. +2 shields out for GunGFu, but that's still a good trade for Harstem. +3, +1 is better than +2, +1. In fact, there's no +2 air weapons coming out from GunGFu at all. The longer he sits on that upgrade, the worse things are going to get. 2 little armies going down here right now. Not enough on the north side for GunGFu, and Harstem actually has a distinct advantage here. He's not going to press in, though. There's so many photon cannons. You can't afford to lose that many units this late, or at this point in the game. Interesting Tempest counter by GunGFu. It isn't going to be carrier versus carrier at all. Instead, it's looking more like Tempest versus carrier. A nice aggressive recall there from Harstem, moving his stalkers into position. He doesn't want these carriers to fight this blink stalker army all by its lonesome. Both players maxed out here. Nice counter disruptor shots here from Harstem. It looks like his own disruptor's not getting quite the damage they want, but he's able now to push in to this base. Once these photon cannons go down, this entire army will be completely unassailable. A time warp on the south side, zoning GunGFu out. This is a really nice play by Harstem, who actually keeps GunGFu stuck at his 12 o'clock base, and he's able to clear out this inside 12 o'clock base, which also has the rich Vespene Geyser. Meanwhile, a bit of counter pressure here. DTs and Zealots into the base of Harstem. Harstem even on probes right now, but that's about to change as the DTs and Zealots clear out that photon cannon. More pressure down on the south side here. Carriers and a mothership going after the Tempest, while Harstem is pushing into the ground army to this 4th base of GunGFu. GunGFu in a lot of pressure right now at his 4 o'clock base on the inside. Interesting pressure from Harstem here, splitting up his army in not the most efficient way. Harstem unable to clear out this base, unable to clear out this base, unable to kill all these units back home. And actually, I gotta say, that was a stellar defense from GunGFuBanDa, or more likely, it was just not a very fecund offense from Harstem. He wasn't able to do much at all with that. GunGFu didn't lose a single base, didn't lose any probes, and behind this, a simple run-by from GunGFu actually cleared out a lot of Harstem's army. Harstem finds himself in a very, very weak position this game. He's now down 97 army supply to 117. Look at the army supply graph here. This is when Harstem was trying to attack in 3 places at once, but he just didn't quite have enough army supply in any of those places to get damage done. We're going to see him pushing in again to this inside 6 o'clock base. I'm not sure that's going to be enough, though. Carriers pushing forward, getting out these Tempests. If the carriers can get on top of the Tempest, they've got a really good shot at this. It looks like the Tempest can see the carriers. There must be an observer somewhere for GunGFu. GunGFu losing a few units here. Harstem establishing some dominance, but that's still a decent trade for GunGFuBanDa. Only losing a few Tempests. We do see that Tempest upgrade, Tectonic Destabilizers, coming down from GunGFu. What a badass upgrade name that is. That means the Tempests do a little bit more damage to buildings, allowing them to properly siege and clear out those buildings a little bit more quickly. And now, of course, that Harstem has seen that he's up against Tempests, he's getting Tempi of his own. I know it's not Tempi, but I do love making people in the chat angry about it. 3 o'clock base reestablished for GunGFu here. This has not been spotted yet by Harstem, but he's already sending DTs around. Harstem has been so active trying to clear these bases. I will just say, Harstem's been active in trying to clear the bases, but he tends to have the problem of undercommitting right now. You saw he sent those 2 DTs up to the north side. They immediately got cleared by a lot more DTs from GunGFu. Finally, Harstem's able to break through one of these bases. At what cost, though? It's taken him so long to get there. Harstem all the way down to 69 probes. Nice. To the 72 of GunGFu. He's just going to go for the gusto here. The Mama ship is going to get in here, getting some laser shots off on the 6 o'clock base, and both 6 o'clock bases have been cleared here by Harstem. Huge disruptor ball, though, from GunGFuBanDa. Harstem's going to lose a lot on the south side. Meanwhile, probes getting cleared out again at this base. One carrier clearing out everything it can, but the carrier not quite going to beat up these DTs. Going to get a lot of damage done. There's no observer, and now the photon cannon is gone. These DTs can have fun, till Harstem takes the observer away. GunGFu engaging it in the south side here. This Mama ship is still alive, guys. 4 kills on it. It's been out for the entire game. No Mama ship losses yet for Harstem. This is the original OG Mama ship that he built several minutes ago. Harstem finally finds a positive trade this game, clears out the 6, clears out the inside 6, and finally has GunGFu back down to only 2 mining bases. Now, Harstem has been mining at his bases for slightly longer than GunGFu has. If you look at the income tab, you'll see that Harstem's been slightly ahead for the last 5 minutes or so in mining. Ooh, this DT. Oh, this DT. Oh, this DT. Oh, yeah, get out of range of that pile, or that photon cannon. So sexy. So sexy. All right, finally gets cleared out. Finally gets cleared out. Harstem rotating around on the north side, and finally, I gotta say, I like what Harstem's doing. He's rotating around to the north side. Now, where did his Mama ship go? Okay, his Mama ship back home. I wonder if he's gonna try for an offensive recall. Now that 6 o'clock has been cleared out, he might try and send that Mama ship around the south side, offensive recall onto the production facilities of GunGFuBanDa here. GunGFu, by the way, way out of position, just going for the south side attack here, and this could get real ugly real fast. He's actually gonna recall a bunch of those probes down to the, where do you recall those probes to? Oh, to the 3rd base. Oh, no. But that's just Harstem's next target. Meanwhile, GunGFu pushing in. The Mama ship does go down, so that's a bit of a mistake there from Harstem, allowing that mothership to get taken. He should start another one right away. GunGFu starting a Mama ship of his own. Harstem chasing these probes down. A huge mistake from Harstem. Harstem, you gotta strike while the iron is hot. Didn't you play Civilization 5 and listen to Leonard Nimoy every time you researched, is it iron working? I think? I can just hear his voice saying, "You must strike while the iron is hot." God, he was so good in that game. Anyway, now's the push that Harstem wanted. He cleared out a couple of probes, but honestly, I think wasting a lot of time just trying to grab some more of those probes. He's able to finally get on top of that base, and Harstem's going to go ahead and evacuate. Maybe worried about GunGFu's pressure here. GunGFu finally recalls, goes back to his 3rd base here to defend, and Harstem's going to walk away with a big, big win. Look at this, guys. Harstem has the 12 o'clock base getting taken. He needs to take this inside 12 o'clock as well. He did lose one of his mining bases down here, but he was able to clear out the main mining base for GunGFu. GunGFu now forced to take this inside 12 o'clock base that he's lost a little bit, and Harstem still has the air upgrade advantage 3-2 for just a little while longer. It's all going to come down to the engagement here. This is still anybody's game here in game 2. Mama ship out now for GunGFu. Man, you know what Harstem needs right now? He needs to call his buddy Elaser and be like, "Hey, Elaser, would you loan me a Viper? Like, just for one game." That'd be so awesome. If you could do, like, remember in the campaign, the Terran campaign, where you could mercenaries? So, like, even if you didn't have the tech for Marauders, you could still, like, get some Marauders if you had a couple hundred minerals sitting around. I feel like that'd be an amazing addition to the game if Harstem could just be like, "Hey, I need to call my friends on Char, and I just need one Viper, one Yoink. That's all I need." By the way, All I Need is an amazing song by Jacob Collier. And every time I say all I need now, that's all I can hear in my head. You are all I need, all I need. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. GunGFu with a slight initiative in this game now. The Tempest count looking way in his favor, 8-5. And now it's 4 carriers out for Harstem. Harstem's going to recall up to his north base to try and defend against this. Again, this is one of Harstem's only really fully saturated mining bases, so he has to waste his recall on that, and that's a huge win for GunGFu, who's going to take the advantage to move in to the south side. And now with these Tempests with tectonic destabilizers, they're able to clear out these photon cannons and probably the base here very quickly. Harstem's going to try and engage here onto the Mama ship, but GunGFu just has way too much here. Harstem's got to take some tentative shots, but he has to retreat. He cannot engage into this, and he's not pulling his army in time. Harstem moving way down south here. He's got such a slow-moving army. That was a big win for GunGFu, but hey, GunGFu didn't actually clear this at all. GunGFu retreating a bit prematurely, not clearing the nexus. You know, not that it matters. I mean, 170 minerals, 300. There's maybe 1,000 minerals left on this base completely, but we're getting into the ultra late game, guys. You really have to take this very seriously. Every mineral counts, and never more than in the late game. Very smart, by the way, from Harstem to focus fire down these probes down. Probes are going to become an invaluable resource here. You can always build more nexus that take a little while, but the probe count is really going to matter. Harstem now even on probes as GunGFu pushes back in, finishes the job he wasn't able to finish earlier, clears out that 9 o'clock base. And then moves into the inside 9 o'clock base. That's the second nexus that goes down. Those tectonic destabilizers really paying off for GunGFu. Not just because they clear out the bases a little bit longer, or a little bit more quickly, but because it turns their shots that orange flaming color, and how freaking dope does that look, right? Oh, those orange on-fire Tempest shots are so amazing. It's just like the upgrade for Phoenix, the Anion Pulse Crystals upgrade that turns the Phoenix shots from blue lasers into purple lasers. That's the only reason I ever get Anion Pulse Crystals when I'm playing a PvP. I'm like, you know what? I don't even care that they have better range. All I care about is that they look fly as heck. GunGfu grabbing this bottom left-hand corner base. It does look like he's going to reestablish himself at the base that Harstem previously had. And again, that shows a bit of initiative in the favor of GunGFuBanDa. If he is able to take and hold that base for a little bit longer, it's going to end up much better. Look at those dope-ass tectonic destabilizing shots from the Tempests. And even though the army supply is a little bit in favor of Harstem, and so is the army value, these Tempests are going to make it very difficult for Harstem to find a superior engagement. I don't know why Harstem has failed to get tectonic destabilizers. It would pay off in spades for him right now. Disruptor balls! Oh my gosh, those disruptor shots clearing out so many stalkers. Look at the bank for Harstem right now. You'd think, okay, late game, who cares? If you kill a bunch of stalkers, I'll just rebuild 25 of them. I got, how many gates does he have? Sorry, structures tab is T. He's got 11 gates. I'll just warp in 11 stalkers at a time. He's out of money, guys. Both of these players are bled like stuck pigs. They've got no money left at all. They're like me on the day before payday. They're just trying to scrounge by with whatever they can, buying some ramen noodles to feed these stalkers and hoping that none of them die. Again, with the Tempest count in favor of GunGFuBanDa, it does mean that he's going to be able to take much more significantly advantageous engagements, and we are going to see the army supply tilting in his favor as the game goes on. The upgrades have evened up for both these players. GunGfu at 3-2 for his flyer units, and Harstem at 3-2 for his flyer units as well. GunGfu in a pretty decent position here. Harstem's going to be a little bit more aggressive than I think he might be advised. Tempest going to take a big fight here. Disruptor ball. Oh, nice aggressive blink forward here from Harstem. Let's see if Harstem gets some good damage done with the blinks here. The Tempest count is just too high, though, and Harstem knows it. He's been cleared out. GG. Ladies and gentlemen, for the second series in a row, we are going to that rubber match, that final match, that match number 3 with 2 incredible players. What a freaking dope 31-minute game between Harstem and GunGFuBanDa. If you have ever questioned whether the EU region was drying up with talent, if you're like, oh, some of these players don't deserve to be here, you are wrong. You're straight up wrong. Harstem and GunGfu bashing heads. My God, this is good. Oh, this is so flippin' good, you guys. Whew. Hey, we just came out of a 31-minute game. Excitement all over the map. My heart is going pitta-patta, pitta-patta. First of all, because I'm an old man. Second of all, because I eat way too much cheese and all my arteries are mostly just cheese at this point. But third, I've been sitting down now for about 2 hours is how long I've been live. We've got a couple minutes here. Harstem asked for a few minutes in between the games. So if you have been sitting down for as long as I have, 2 hours, maybe even longer, I'd recommend you take a moment right now before game 3, stand up, walk around. I'm going to stay sitting. I'm going to be a bad example, but if the game starts, I want to be here. But I will say, guys, while we're waiting, if you don't have the chance to stand up and walk around, what I'll recommend that you do is do your arm stretches. Have you done those today? Well, we've got a quick break. Let's do those together. Remember the arm stretches that Day 9 taught us all those years ago? Let's get it done. 20 seconds on each arm. And here's all you have to do. We'll start the timer. I hope. Boom. There it is. So start here. Gentle pull. Make sure your arm here is straight. And you're just going to pull this hand gently up. Don't like, wah! Keep your arm straight. You should feel a nice stretch on the bottom side of your arm here. Do this for about 20 seconds. And after 20 seconds, go ahead and switch to the other side. Again, make sure this arm is straight. Don't bend your elbow. You're not going to get the full benefit. And of course, when you do the anterior stretch, you should feel it on the top side of your arm here. So hold this for a good solid 20 seconds, and then we'll just swap over and do the other hand when we hit 40. Anybody in chat who has ever had a repetitive strain injury can tell you, like, you guys might, I'm sure chat is probably laughing at me right now. They're like, oh, what a nerd. Oh, he's doing stretches on stream. Anybody who has ever had carpal tunnel or any RSI can tell you, don't mess around with this stuff, guys. If you spend as much time at your computer as I do, you gotta keep yourself healthy. You only get one body. You can always play another StarCraft game. You can't start over once you get carpal tunnel. So genuinely, take a couple seconds. Take care of yourselves, guys. We want the StarCraft community to live long, and maybe I'm just on a Leonard Nimoy kick here, but we want them to live long and prosper. And there we go. 120 seconds. It's like a minute and a half. That's all it takes. Take care of yourselves, guys. It's so important. Anyway, Harstem is ready to go. GunGFu is ready to go. And just as we finish up, we are moving in now to game number 3. I'm trying not to respond to chat too much, but I will say a lot of Leica suggesting that I bleed Velveeta. I am offended. How dare you? Velveeta cheat, you monster. Ugh. I mean, okay, Velveeta works in very limited... You know what? I'm not even going to say it. No. There's always a better option. Get some Mimolette. Get some Manchego. Have you had Oaxaca? It's so good. It's so good. All right, guys. In the immortal words of that one song we all listened to in, depending on how old you are, middle school or elementary school, like thousands of times. Y'all ready for this? You can't say y'all ready for this without hearing the entire annoying, like when we thought we knew what techno was, right? Oh, jeez. All right, let's do it. The rubber match, because stuff is already happening. Spawning in the bottom right-hand side and max paxing it up. I don't believe this. It's our red Dutch Protoss player. His name is Harstem. And his opponent. No, my God, it's not a max pax. No, my God, it's not a max pax. In the top left-hand side in the blue from Cascade Gaming in Germany, it is GunGFuBanDa. Oh, okay. Oh, shit. All right, sorry. This is a family-friendly stream. I didn't need to curse there. Sorry. Oh, shoot. This is exciting. Pylon on the high ground. Forge about to finish. Double proxy gateway. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Probe's still alive. Let's see if GunGFu's getting a forge of his own. He's not getting a counter forge of his own. This pylon is going to finish. He'd be fooled to put the cannon down on the low ground. This is so smart from GunGFu, who realizes this might be happening. Forces the cannon in a very weird position, and that should force a pull of some of these probes from GunGFu. He simply cannot afford to let this cannon finish. Oh man, oh man. Another cannon going down to the high ground. The probe is going to get away though. Oh, okay. This is so aggressive from Harstem, and I love it. He is 100% all in right now. This absolutely has to work. Harstem's brought a second probe here, forces the cancel on one pylon, or one cannon rather. Second cannon coming down. Hang on, my headphones are tangled up. Oh, all right, I'm good. Whew. I almost pulled my headphones here out of my computer. Cannons down. Zealots are here. There's no counter forge from GunGFu. What? He's getting stalkers out, but already cannons 2 and 3 gonna finish up. Zealots trying to work down this pylon, but there's a secondary. Oh no, that's a shield battery. There's a secondary pylon support this here, so the Zealots will go down here. Secondary pylon gonna get picked off, though. This is so close. Is he going to depower one of these gates? All the probes pulled off the line right now, but the other 2 photon cannons are going to finish on the high ground. This does look really, really strong for Harstem right now, and that's it. The 2 pylons depowering the gateway. It's 2 stalkers. It's like that Steely Dan album. It's 2 against nature for GunGFuBanDa right now. He's fighting the entire might of a 2-gate Harstem with 3 pylons on the, or 3 photon cannons on the high ground. 1 cannon might go down here. Finally, 1 cannon goes down, but we have got a couple more cannons still here. The Zealots have gone down. 4 probes have gone down as well. Only 1 gateway out here for GunGFu. Harstem is not building anything else right now, working on Zealots, but there's no cyber core. Harstem finally grabbing a gas behind this, grabbing a cyber core, trying to pull out of this, but the photon cannons have slowed this down so much. Actually, this does look like a decent hold here from GunGFuBanDa. If he can depower that pylon on the high ground, he should be in pretty decent shape. Focus firing down the Zealots instead. Luckily, there's still 1 gateway, and oh my God, Harstem's going all in, you guys. Another cannon going down. I can't believe he's investing into this. He's not gotten really any probe damage done right now. Look at the units lost tab. Only 6 probes have gone down for the 3 of Harstem, and now that he's out of range of the bottom cannon, oh dear, oh dear. This cannon's going to go down, and Harstem is going to find himself in a world of trouble. This is not how he wanted to go at all. It looked so promising at the beginning, but I don't think it's going to be too much at all. GunGFu has a much more robust technological background, a backbone to his army. Even though he lost one of his gateways, he's getting a second gateway up now. His warp gate research already about halfway done. Harstem's is so far behind now, and it's only a matter of time before GunGFu scouts out with these stalkers, finds the pylon, and smacks it down. I was going to make an inappropriate reference there, but I will not. A couple of these adepts will get out, actually, but they should get sniped down by the stalkers. I think he might escape with the with the shade here. But the pylon's going to go down, and Harstem's going to lose an awful lot, guys. The resources lost tab is about to get really, really more sad than it already is. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Double Gateway depowered, Forge depowered, and now Harstem's got to hope that this Hail Mary Stargate is enough. Do I smell Void Rays? Do you smell Void Rays? We might smell some Void Rays, guys. It's tough to see all of these depowered units, or all these depowered buildings from Harstem. He does have one gate back home. Look at this probe from GunGfu still in the main base. He saw the Stargate. He knows everything. Even if a Void Ray comes out at this point, GunGfu has got to be ready for it. Yeah, he's going Oracle, which is much safer, but man, it's just, I mean, a shield battery can end this man's whole career. And that's about all it's going to take. I love that GunGfu's committing a couple Stalkers to making sure that these gateways and forges don't get repowered. That's always one thing that a lot of professional players will sort of skimp out on because they're like, okay, I don't want to have my army out on the map or anything. Yeah, really rough start here for Harstem, who finds himself just light years, just parsecs behind his opponent. This is really terrifying. Oracle coming across the map, but he can't even get a second Oracle out right now, guys. I'm not even sure what Harstem's follow-up is going to be. He could probably go for like a Twilight Council into Robo and maybe try and either get some Blink Stalkers or could just go Charge Lot Archon to hopefully get the Charge Lots on the map to defend against GunGfu's inevitable push here. But again, with the shield battery, well, there's no shield battery in the main, but with the Stalkers here at the natural, Stalkers in the main, I don't think this Oracle's going to get much done at all. It can sacrifice itself for 3 or 4 kills. Good positioning here. Yeah, sacrifice itself for 3 or 4 kills. 1, 2, maybe 3 kills. Oh, not quite enough. Oracle gets pushed away here. Still alive, which is nice. Just like, what is it, GLaDOS in Portal 1, still alive? But not quite enough. Forge coming down from GunGfu, and this is not for cannons anymore, boys and girls. This Forge is, of course, for upgrades. GunGfu looking to play a responsible, reasonable mid to late game against Harstem. Harstem coming from a significant position of weakness this game. Robo finally going down for Harstem, but I mean, look at the probe count right now. The natural for Harstem only just now finishing up, and economically, it just does not look like he's got much of a chance. That Oracle, again, a bit of a Hail Mary, hoping to get some damage done, but GunGfu playing it cautious, playing it safe. Honestly, at this point, if you're GunGFuBanDa and you've defended against that crazy all-in, and he now knows it was more or less an all-in, now that he's seen all these depowered buildings, basically, GunGfu is right now going through a mental checklist and saying, what could I lose to? I could lose to DTs. I better make sure I have some detection. I've got a Forge. Great. I could lose to Disruptors, maybe. I've got some Blink Stalkers out. I've got a decent army. I should be all right. I could lose to Mass Void Ray. I've got some Stalkers out. I'll get some shield batteries down. I should be okay. I could lose to Mass Phoenix. He's just going down the list right now, thinking of everything he could possibly lose to, and checking all those boxes to make sure it doesn't happen. His superior economic advantage will eventually translate into a superior army supply advantage. He's just being very cautious right now and waiting for that to happen. Chat doing the Max Packs copy pasta. Oh, man. You guys, what do you think this is? The A stream? Come on, let's talk about the games. Third base is down for both players now, but again, Harstem slightly behind his opponent, GunGFuBanDa. GunGfu's Warp Prism on the way, indicating that GunGfu does want to get some actual pressure on the map quite soon. That Warp Prism, again, going to be slightly indicative that you're ready to go for a big push, and it will help out. You can pick up some Stalkers. If you don't have Blink, which he does, or your Blink is on cooldown, that Warp Prism is very useful in picking up Stalkers, to prevent them from getting killed by the Disruptors. I like that Harstem's going for Disruptor. Obviously, if you're going to be behind in a game, it makes a lot of sense to go for a unit that is very swingy, that is not luck-based, but is very skill-based, a very tactical unit. And Disruptors are exactly the unit that you want to go for if you're trying to swing the game hugely in your favor. +1 already finished up for GunGfu. He should work on +2 right away. Can't afford to fall behind in this upgrade game. We already see +1 about 3/4 of the way done for Harstem. And upgrades would be a great way for GunGfu to stay with a huge advantage in this game. I'm a little surprised that he's not going for it right away. He certainly has the scratch for it. So there it is. +2 starts right away. All right, good, good, good. GunGFu covering all his bases, doesn't want to fall behind on upgrades, doesn't want to fall behind on tech, and certainly doesn't want to allow his opponent to expand unfettered. He's got to make sure that he gets onto Harstem, keeps Harstem back on a couple bases, and certainly prevents a 4th base from going down, even though he's already allowed this 3rd to go down as well. I like that Harstem's got a 3rd base down. A bit of a greedy play maybe, but very, very well worth it. Immediately the Observer picked off their Disruptor Ball. Oh, see, as we said earlier, this Warp Prism able to pick up those sentries and save them from certain death in that Disruptor shot. Sadly, sentries do not have Blink, so they're unable to get out of there when a Disruptor Ball happens. Nice little Stasis Ward here from GunGFu, gonna even the odds a little bit, or from Harstem rather, gonna even the odds a little bit, but just not quite enough. Immortal's getting shelled down here. Shield Battery overcharge for Harstem. We'll keep him alive for a little bit longer here. One Stalker goes down rather, but the sentry count's still fairly healthy. 3 sentries out for GunGFu. Decent energy. Guardian Shield should still be available, as are... Oof. Nice Disruptor shot there. Guardian Shield available, as are some more Force Fields. Now, saying that, they do get taken down by a Disruptor Ball, but the Immortals are gone now, and it's mass Blink Stalker versus just Disruptor, Zealot, and a handful of Stalkers. This 3rd base going to be under some serious duress, and Harstem can't even sneak some Adepts across the map right now to do some counter damage, and wow, the Blink up into the main base. What an aggressive play. Disruptor, oh, taken out at the last minute. Hashtag calculated by GunGFu, who knew exactly when those Stalkers were going to land, and did not die to the Disruptor Ball. Another Disruptor Ball coming here, defensive Blink away from GunGFu, but now he should be able to get on those Disruptors and no additional damage. Huge warping of charge lots coming in from GunGFuBanDa, and they will get picked up again. Beautiful micro there by GunGFu, saving the unblinkable units out of GunGFu, and that means these Zealots and Sentries are going to stay alive for a little bit longer. Oh, these poor Disruptors. Poor Disruptors caught like rats in a trap, and Harstem is going to get ravaged there. GunGFuBanDa is going to take GG.